All right, I'm going to share with you guys some insightful information that I discovered recently, and I think that a lot of people could benefit from it. That's why I call it a little known secret, because only a few of us actually know it and use it in our everyday life. And that's why I'm going to start with a nice story to illustrate my point. But first, that's a good cappuccino. And in Italian, that means that you paid too much for that coffee. But anyway, let's get through with the story. The story begins with two islands. One island had a man on it. It was a deserted island, and he needed to survive for as long as he could with limited resources. The other island had 5 individuals that had resources that were limited, but they were able to pool them together to allow them to have more resources than just if one person was there. So, which group do you think survived the longest? Most of you are going to probably answer that the group of 5 did, because they have more resources. They pulled it together in order to survive longer, and you would be correct. They did survive longer until they were rescued. The man that was alone on the island died after 10 days. He could not make it alone. My point is this. You being alone, focusing on the limited resources that you have and how to grow them, is very limiting, and it will not allow you to grow and survive to the greatest extent that you can. Whereas in a group, in a clan, or in a team, when you pull resources together, you can go that much farther for that much longer. There is not a big difference between those scenarios and the ones that you're in today. If you are struggling financially, you are lacking resources to give you the tools and freedom that you need to move beyond that point. The difference is that now we deal with fiat currency or paper money that we trade for goods and services, whereas back then, we had limited resources that we would trade with each other. If I needed something from them, they would provide me with something that they were good at, a trade, or something that they had that they can give me that was useful, and then I would do such a thing in return. But now, I give you a piece of paper and you give me something in return for that piece of paper. The thing is that you have a limited amount of resources, aka fiat currency or paper. And I want you to have more of it. So how can you have more of it? You pool it together with a group of people. And this is the little known secret that I want to make clear. This is the little known secret that the Rothschild family used and successfully executed, which I will elaborate on more. This is the secret that I used with my family. And this is a secret that you can use with your family, with your close network. The Rothschild family accumulated their wealth by following Law 23 in this book, The 48 Laws of Power. And that law states to concentrate your forces. That's what we're talking about. Pooling your resources, putting things together to make them greater than just a single part. They knew this law so well that it helped them amass wealth so quickly. They were a banking family. Mayor Amschel was the first of the Rothschilds family to accumulate wealth by lending his money. And he had 5 sons. And those 5 sons soon became successful in running the business. Their secret was not to allow outsiders or anyone outside of their close circle and family to be in the business, to run the business. And soon after that, they became one of the most powerful forces in European finances and politics. They understood this law, and they knew that the concentration of forces was the foundation of their power, wealth, and stability. So the secret to applying this to your life today is by thinking about what we have and where we can go instead of what I have and where I can go. I'm going to show you how I use this in my life with my family. Okay, when I wanted to buy a rental property, I was limited on resources, or in other words, I didn't have the money and the capital to buy it. But I knew it was a good deal and I wanted to buy it. I also knew that my parents had paid off the majority of their mortgage and that they were looking for additional income as they were nearing retirement. So I wanted to structure this deal in a way where I could buy this property, but I could also help my parents in the process and they could help me. So what did they have that I didn't have? They had money, they had capital to buy the property, which I didn't. And what did I have? I had the wherewithal, the knowledge, and the confidence to execute on this property so that they could produce more monthly cash flow and income for their retirement, to put their money to work for them without them having to work. So I said, why don't we combine our resources? Let's do something together that I couldn't do by myself. And so we bought that property with no money down. We were able to leverage their primary residence with a home equity line of credit to purchase that investment property. And we both produce monthly cash flow. We split it, and we are increasing our net worth and equity in that property every month that passes. So we have successfully executed that law and principle. Another example in my family was when my parents wanted to buy a car and they did not want to have to pay an 8% interest on an auto loan and throw all that money away when interest rates are so high. So what did they do? They went back to the family, back to their close circle. Who has capital to buy the car? And could we make that person the bank instead of just some random bank I'm giving my money to? Why don't we bring in my grandfather? He can pay for the car and we can finance the car through him at a lower interest rate that saves my parents money and puts more money in my grandfather's pocket. We are not using an outside bank to help us with this acquisition. We are using our own bank. That's what a bank is. They're holding money and they're lending it out. Why can't we do that with each other? We can lend with each other. This is what successful cultures do to grow wealth. Successful families do to grow wealth. Because you can only go so far so quick by yourself. So start to look at what the resources are as a unit. And if you're a couple, think of your partner as a teammate, as a unit, and how you can pool resources to do things that you couldn't do otherwise. All right, you guys get the point. I'm pretty much done with my coffee here. That means that my time's running out. And just subscribe to the channel. That's basically what it comes down to. I mean, yeah. All right, you guys, you know I'm kidding. I love you. Keep going, keep learning, keep grinding.